Alrighty, so there's two ways to do this. I highly recommend like having your animation and all your kind of little catalyst things as far along as possible so that you're not doing double work. So let's say that's donezo. So animation's done, and there's two methods. The first method, I'm going to duplicate my comp here, and we'll call this the scale and position method. For this, if you haven't done it already, what we want is for all of our layers to be continuously rasterized. And what that'll do is as we scale things and position things, it will continue to render out the vector image. So if you've been working in Illustrator, this is the beauty of that. Vectors are resolution agnostic. You can zoom in as much as you want, but for it to look nice, you got to turn on these little switches here. Okay, so now that we have that set up, the continuously rasterize cookin, we're going to grab that comp and put it in a new comp. And this new comp is going to be at whatever aspect ratio you want to work at. I'm going to just make this HD. All right, and then what you'll do is to set up your shots, you simply scale and position your piece, right? Which is like effectively like a camera. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have kind of a wide shot. I'm gonna set this to fit. Yeah, fit. Cool. Kind of a wide shot. And the ball comes in. And then it's always good to cut on action. That's not just for animation, that's also for film. So then I'm going to have my second shot. And all the shots are going to come from that original pre-comp, and I'm just going to frame these up. I can also just drag this stuff. And then it's gonna fall, and on action again, I'm gonna cut. Another kind of rule of editing is you always want your shots to be different enough that they don't feel like a jump cut. So like if the zoom in, or if the pan over, or if whatever you're doing is too small a move, it's going to feel like jarring, right? So now that I've gone close, I'm going to go far. And a good hotkey for this is Command-Alt-Shift-G. You also have Command-Alt... Here, I'll turn on my little keycaster thing. So Command-Alt-Shift-H scales it to the X. Command-Alt-Shift-G scales it to the Y. Right, so now we're at the wide shot, and there's a problem, right? We have this black on either side. So what we can do is basically anything you can do in Illustrator, you can do in After Effects. So I'm going to make a solid I'm going to make it blue. I'm going to stick it in back, set the in. Right. And then I'm going to cut right here, because this is like another kind of key moment. And to make that cut thing, I'm just going Command-Shift-D. And then I'm going to zoom in to where the action is, and this will be my last shot. Maybe a little wider. I just have to stop noodling once I get going. Anyway. And then we're out. So another thing that can be nice is if the animation of the protagonist kind of drives the camera a little bit. So I'm just doing basic edits. But what I can do is as the ball starts to fall, I can have this motivate the camera a little bit. All right. You know, and I can also like adjust my edit if I want just by moving the ins and outs a little bit. And then I can match that over here. So this one is going to end in that position. And it's gonna, I forget which way it needs to go. Yeah, like that. Move down a little. And what that should do is make the cut a little nicer. See? Oh, editing is so much fun. So that's method one, okay? That's the easier of the two methods. The other method, we're going to call this scale and position edit. Edit, cool. This one we're going to call camera with an actual camera. All right. So for this to work, you need to turn on the continuously rasterized just like before, but now you have to turn on 3D. And what that does is that makes the layer behave like a card in space, so that we can move the objects in Z. And what that lets us do is make a new camera. Okay? In After Effects, by default, you create a 2-node camera. I'm just going to say it. 2-node cameras are the devil. I don't know why you would ever want to use a 2-node camera in After Effects. Use a 1-node camera. I'm sure there's some reason, but I don't know how long it's been now. 16 years? I've never had a use for a 2-node camera. 1-node camera. All right. And now what we can do, we'll make our composition. You know what? I'm going to pre-comp this just because I think it's going to make it a little neater. Grab it all. I'm also going to make my pre-comp collapsed and 3D. Because I want this to be just like the other one, 1920 by 1080. So everything so far is very similar. The differences are I made my layers 3D, and once they are 3D, then I can animate the camera and do it that way. All right. So it's very similar, where we can move the camera around and X and Y, but now we're not playing with scale anymore. The scale is controlled by Z. All right. X, Y, Z. So if I want to zoom out, I gotta, what is it? Dolly back, pan back? I don't know. And there are camera tools. If you hit C, you can move between them. And now it's the same thing. So there's this, and then I'm gonna cut somewhere over here. Right. But now, instead of animating the layer, we're animating the camera. So we can have the camera pan over with it if we want. And so I'm going to undo that. Gotta zoom in. All right. Two different flavors of the same kind of thing. All right. And one you're animating the object, and the other one you're animating the position of a camera panning over basically a flat scene. The other thing I want you to think about is like stuff like this. Okay, so I'm in this scene here, and my stairs are, I can't walk around. My stairs are sticking in the corner, right? So we can look at these with a design eye here and say, let's see, where are my stairs? You know what? I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab a piece of it over here like this. I'm going to do an offset. And then I'm going to move it over. And that's going to get rid of the stairs. So basically, I'm just cloning over to itself, right? Because like the stairs, yes, continuity-wise, the stairs would be exactly in that spot. But design-wise, like it's not doing anything for you. So as you're framing up your shots, if you see like kind of weird little bits that are making the shots kind of messy or unnecessary or taking your eye away from the action as you're framing up things, turn them off, move them out of the way, right? Does that make sense, those two methods? Sort of? Yeah, I mean the scale and position's like the easier one, but cameras can be cool too. All right. Eventually, we're going to do something with the camera in a later project. But for now, you could just do the scale and position. But if you want to like challenge yourself with a new thing, that's how to do it. All right.